Joining us now to separate truth from fiction about America's Bidenomic reality is Rebecca Walser, the founder and CEO of Walser Wealth Management. You can find her on X at Rebecca Walser. That's Rebecca, Walser. Rebecca, welcome back to State of the Nation.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
In an opinion piece published on CNN.com today, Washington Post columnist Fareed Zakaria wrote, "The economy has been in a robust recovery for more than 2 years now, with unemployment hitting a 54-year low in 2023 and increasing only slightly since then. But Biden is getting little credit for it." Zakaria went on to say that people focus more on inflation than on employment numbers, but reading his piece made me check to be sure I wasn't mistakenly reading the Babylon Bee. Rebecca, have I fallen victim to confirmation bias, or is Fareed living in an alternate reality?
Listen, there's a lot of media out there that has an agenda that is going to take specific facts and say, hey, look at this beautiful data, the lowest unemployment in 52 years. What he doesn't share, which we all know, and that's what you're feeling, is the fact that we've lost 600,000 full-time jobs. Most, if not all of the jobs have been part-time jobs, unless they're government jobs or they're low-paying jobs. And even though wages have risen, they haven't kept up with inflation. We know that year over year. And not only that, but even as the hourly wage rises, they cut the hours back. So people are having to have 2 or 3 jobs just to basically cover the expenses of their groceries and their gas. And that is why nobody believes in Bidenomics. And anybody that is just a common mom or dad can explain this to you in 2 seconds. And this is why the propaganda machine is no longer working. Thank God. Thank God people are finally realizing that what they're hearing from the media is a direct lie, because they know themselves personally that it's a lie. And that's what it's taken for people to finally realize that the media tells what the media wants to tell.
Yeah, a couple of years ago when I started working here with TNT, I was talking about the economy, and I made the comment at the time, how much austerity is America going to have to experience before they open their eyes? And here we are, almost 2 years later, and about 20 months later or so. And where do you think we are in that austerity index? I mean, clearly you're saying that, this is one of the things that is waking people up and leads to Biden's infamous unpopularity now.
Well, I would say that we just got the new University of Michigan's consumer sentiment out, and it has had the largest drop now in 3 years. It dropped 1.6 points, which is 2% month over month from just last month. And so we are starting to see people recognizing, and it's really sad that it takes actual data. It's sad that the first quarter GDP of 1.6 had to come out, and people had to say, wait, what happened? We were expecting 2.4, 2.5. Where's 1.6? Then we had to finally get last month, we had to get payroll numbers that weren't in the 200 and something. It was 175, and that was a miss for the first time. So people are like, wait, that's a problem. And then just this week, besides the consumer sentiment dropping, which is a result of all these 3 main things, we also had the initial jobless claims jump up to the highest level in 9 months. So we're starting to now finally see the data that can no longer be obfuscated to kind of hide abruptly month. This is indicative that, yes, there is pain, that people are really feeling it, and finally they're expressing it.
Yeah, I mean, just all you have to do is go to the gas pump, and it's awfully easy to have a robust economy when you don't include food, energy, or shelter in the consumer price index, and when you don't calculate based on a weighted average for full-time versus part-time jobs. If somebody is replacing 1 full-time job with 3 part-time jobs, you have not created 2 jobs.
That's right. Absolutely right. I could not agree more. Absolutely.
So the lying to us with statistics is out of hand. I mean, what Timothy just said right there, those 3 swim lanes of the economy are arguably 3 of the long poles in the tent for all Americans. So, I mean, the level of disingenuousness is off the charts. And we've seen the same thing with crime statistics. They tell us on bogus CIANN and other outlets that crime is down, but oh, by the way, they don't want to tell you they're not counting crime in Baltimore, LA, Chicago, New York. I could go on. There's 5 or 6 main cities.
Yeah, and it's funny because we just got a really great piece this week, an analysis done of why has the economy been so robust from a lot of economic data that we've seen for this long, because we've all sort of expected like a really big pullback sooner. And what they're talking about is the BNPL, the buy now, pay later. They're estimating that was about $700 billion that never got reported to the credit bureau. So it's really what we're calling phantom debt, right? But what happened was the auto loans and the credit card delinquencies were getting up there. But once the payments kicked in from the buy now, pay later of 2023 and before, they started to really shoot up the credit card delinquencies and the auto delinquencies because they can't pay all three. And right now, our credit card debt has reached 1.33 trillion in this country. This is the largest credit card debt balance this country has ever had, ever. So we're really seeing that the economy is on its final straw before we do see sort of some kind of economic that is obvious in the markets themselves. And yet a lot of stock companies are calling buybacks now, and they're actually buying stock, and people take that as a positive forward guidance sign. They say, oh, well, if they are buying back, they must think that the stock's going to do fine. But the actual truth is they're buying back because a lot of these CEOs are divesting and selling large shares of their portions, and they want to sell at the top, and that's when the buyback happens. So we understand, we see the actual way institutional money is being moved, and that makes us understand what's happening. And this is why we can come on and say, look, this is really the pulse of the economy. And we've been expecting, as you guys know, I've been saying it for a long time, we're very bearish about this year, and we actually think that this is the beginning of the end of the fiat system as we know it.
Yeah, those CEOs are big fans of the Rolling Stones song "Better Walk Before They Make You Run." They're getting while the getting's good.
Right.
A lot of people are, a few people, percentage-wise, are okay. They've seen this coming. They've prepared for it. A lot of people, unfortunately, are still asleep. But what about those that have awakened recently? They realize that things are about to go sideways. What can they do to protect themselves from what's coming?
I think you should always follow the institutional money of the world, not necessarily the United States, because obviously we're in a hyper bubble of our own accord. So let's look to what the rest of the world is doing. And what we're seeing is the central banks of the world are buying gold in earnest. But not only are they buying, guys, they're taking delivery. This is the largest shipment of actual delivery in 6 years out of the central bank or out of Switzerland's vaults. So what that tells us, and central banks are taking delivery. So that tells us we need to be in precious metals, and we need to be taking delivery at this point, because I love that we have gold and silver ETFs, but the COMEX, we're not sure about all the contracts and all the gold positions and the vault positions. So we would say that would be the institutional wisdom that you should follow right now.
Absolutely. Don't take that paper. Take those coins, take those bars, take physical gold. Insist on delivery when you do buy gold and silver, platinum, and the others. Rebecca, can't thank you enough. Folks, check out Walser Wealth Management and check out Rebecca on X at Rebecca Walser. That's Walser. Rebecca, thanks so much.
Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend.